Welcome BTGMoto viewers to a video from here in the south of France where I'm on the Col de Saint-Louis. Beautiful road, and I'm here with a very different bike for my channel. Today I am riding the 2025 Royal Enfield Bear 650. The Col de Saint-Louis is on the north face of the Pyrenees, so the other side of the Pyrenees going south from here is Spain. This is a brand new 2025 model, and this also marks a watershed moment for the channel. So if you enjoy the channel, please like and subscribe, leave me a comment down below, and feel free to congratulate both myself and Royal Enfield because this is a press bike. Royal Enfield have given me a press bike. Amazing! I'm really chuffed. What are we doing on this video? Well, I'm going to ride this beautiful Royal Enfield over the Col de Saint-Louis, down into the valley, do some light scrambling, and we're going to end the video at the most amazing gorge that I can't believe I've never seen before in my 25 years of motorcycling. But wait until you see it. But enough talking, let's go riding. Let's follow the Col de Saint-Louis down the hill and we'll go down into the valley and get onto the rough stuff. As you can see, I've got the bike all set up for touring. I've got my Westwindmoto rackless pan system on there. This is actually the 80 litre system, but I'm missing 30 litres. Because I've got the 225s on here and a first aid kit where you can put the last bag. Anyway, let's get on the bike and give you the first impressions. The first time I sat on this bike, it felt a little bit weird, and I actually moved the handlebars up because they were down. They were rotated towards me, and when I was looking down on this crossbar, the crossbar was level with the bar underneath, and the whole set of bars was down here. Personally, I prefer it a bit more motocross style, so I just moved it up as much as I can without changing cable routings. There's nothing wrong with ergonomically optimizing the bike for your own personal taste and fit. And this is a press bike and I have it for 3 weeks. So I was like, cool, I'm making this bike fit me. I'm treating it exactly the same way I would treat it if I bought it from that point of view. Right, turn it on and you're immediately greeted with this, which I don't mind telling you. I'm sorry, I'm not a Royal Enfield aficionado. I was aware that they were cool bikes, and I've got friends who have very high opinions of them, but they hadn't really crossed my radar and I've not ridden them. It's a 48 horsepower twin. Why would I ride a 48 horsepower twin? So anyway, the clock, look at this. Let me turn it on and off. It's just a TFT flat screen and a round clock, and in the analog mode, I find it very, very easy to read. It's very cool. I have put the Garmin on, so you don't see the bottom where the trip is and stuff while you're riding, but that's my fault, not Royal Enfield's. Very cool clock. Start the engine. By the way, super low seat height for a scrambler. I could put both feet down, left and right. It's not a very low seat height bike. You know, if you're a real shorty and you don't like getting your ass up in the air, it's not your classic low seat height machine. There's the road, that's where we're going. One of the more interesting aspects of riding this bike is that every time I stop, people come up to me and ask me about it. Nobody does that with my Aprilia. Nobody does that with my BMW. But everybody does it with the Royal Enfield. Bikers and non-bikers, I should say. And a lot of people, they get on it that are not used to motorcycles. They do comment that it's quite tall. But you can lower this if you want. I'm sure you can. It's just simple shocks on the back. No rising rate linkages or anything. And if you want something low, you should probably look at like the Continental GT 650. So this is the Col de Saint-Louis, and look how spectacular it is. And if you're looking at this map thinking there's a loop-de-loop in the middle of the map, you are not wrong. This is so cool. It's a little bit rainy right now, but it's been rainy and it's been wet and dry the whole day. So we cross this bridge, loop around, and go down into the next valley. And there's also a really cool little place to stop here on the left. Look at that. A full loop under the bridge, and then we're going to hug the left side of the valley and go down the hill all the way to the bottom. Now, as we're cornering and riding this bike on the tarmac, I should really point out that this bike, while it is capable of some light scrambling and a little bit of dirt road, it's definitely more at home on tarmac than it is on dirt. That's not to take away from the fact you can scramble your way through most stuff with it. I'm just saying it's really good on the road. And in fact, actually, I am surprised positively by how much I've enjoyed riding this bike the last few days. The engine in particular is the superstar of the show, and I never thought I would say that about a 48 horsepower twin. To put this in context, the engine in this is an air and oil cooled 48 horsepower 650cc twin. Is not restricted to 48 horsepower for licensing reasons. It's just designed to make 48 horsepower. But the torque, you get all the torque from quite low down, and it's so smooth. It's a 270-degree crank offset, so it feels like a V-twin, like a 90-degree V-twin, and it makes that beautiful sound. And the vibrations are the star of the show because it is so smooth, and it just has this really beautiful thump to it, like an old Ducati, you know. Look at this guy just driving down the middle of the road. So engine and gearbox are just absolutely wonderful. There's no kick, there's no quick shifter, there's no slipper clutch. It is old school, but the gearbox itself, the selections are really positive. You can do the old 1970s quick shifter, which is, you know, when you change up, you're on the gas and you want to change up, you just roll off a tiny bit and she goes straight into the next gear. And likewise, changing down, tiny blip, easy peasy. You don't need the clutch after you've pulled away. It's such a sweet little gearbox and engine, so responsive, doesn't hunt, doesn't surge. When you hold a steady throttle through town, it doesn't surge, it doesn't like go a bit forward and a bit back and a bit forward, you know. It's super smooth, and that's really useful. Like on a day like today, look, it's a bit drizzly and you're coming out these corners, and it's actually got a surprising amount of torque, especially, I must say, from very low down in the revs. 2000 RPM and onwards, she just pulls. At no point of riding this bike did I feel like this bike was restricted to 48 horsepower, and that's a positive thing. It never feels like a A2 license bike. It feels like a big bike. It feels like a full power machine, because you've got so much torque that it just pulls, and you are super happy with that. As a rider, it just feels like a big bike, you know. It's great. Can't go wrong with the engine, really can't. That standard exhaust, which looks okay, I guess, for a scrambler. I guess a lot of people expect a high level exhaust on a scrambler, but that does make luggage a bit of a pain in the arse to fit. So I'm actually really grateful for this stubby low mounted exhaust. I wouldn't change it. I mean, can you hear it on the overrun? We'll go down to first. Whoa, bob, 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 bob. It's like mega. Ah, what a wonderful day to be riding a motorbike. Look at this, eh? I can smell the wood smoke in the air. You know, a lot of the locals are still burning branches and lumber for heat. There's that rumble again. I mean, it just sounds like a big beefy motor, even if the reality is that it's only 48 horsepower. And while we're here, I'm not going to be hitting the autobahn on this video, but I have ridden this bike on the autobahn and the freeway, and I've done a lot of miles on it. I just want to say, shut that visor for a moment, this cruises at 110 to 120 k's really easy. There is no cruise control, there's no blip or quick shift. It is old school, but with this little fly screen on, she does sit on the motorway super easy. 70 miles an hour. I mean, in England, that's the speed limit, right? So you can just cruise at the speed limit and it feels perfectly natural, never feels underpowered. if you need to accelerate from 70 to like 90 miles an hour, that's when high performance 650, 700 twins will feel a lot better than this. But if you're not the guy that needs to accelerate from 70 to 90, or heaven forbid 70 to 100 miles an hour, you're not going to have a problem. And you may have noticed actually, as I ride one-handed explaining stuff to a person that's not actually here, it's just a vague concept to people that will be watching this later, we are in fact on gravel. And you'll notice that I'm not bothered by that at all, and we've not really changed much. We're just going a bit slower, and the bike is superb at it. This is exactly the kind of broken, dilapidated road that this bike just eats up. It's on MRF tyres. This is a really big Indian company. I've come across MRF in motorsports and rallying and racing, and they're a really big high performance tyre company. And they're really well known around the world for tyres. You may not have seen them before, and in fact a lot of my friends saw the tyres on this bike and just presumed they were Pirelli Scorpion Trails, but they're not. They're MRFs, and they handle fine on the road, it must be said. There's nothing wrong with them. There's enough rubber there and enough grip in the dry to have a lot of fun. Unfortunately, there's not so much meat left on the bone right now, so I'm not sure how they do in mud, because they're in the last 1,000-2,000 kilometers of their lifespan. This bike's done about 3,000 kilometers before it was given to me by Royal Enfield. We go right. So as you can see, on these kinds of very gentle dips, the suspension and everything is capable of carrying the bike across it. Don't get me wrong, even a standard Tenere 700 would fly through this at a much faster speed, and my Touareg can handle whoops like that easy peasy. The suspension travel on this is relatively modest. I'll put the numbers up here on the screen, but you're talking way less than 20 centimeters. It's not much at all. While we're bashing along here through the French wilderness, I just want to point out, I mean, it's okay doing a bit of light scrambling like this, but let's not forget one of the big advantages of a Royal Enfield is also potentially its weakness, which is this is a budget bike. This is a bike that retails, full retail price in Germany is something like €7,500 on the road, and I've seen in my local dealer they've got a bike, a Bear 650, a demo bike. It's done 750 kilometers and they've got it in for 6,295. So it is built to a price, and like I say, that is both a blessing and a curse. Right now here on this stuff, look at these little yumps. I'm not bottoming the suspension, but I'm getting awfully close. When I'm moving the bike around in town and being a bit heavy with it, if you want to say, I do notice that the forks, although they look awesome, the shower upside downs look serious, the reality is that the rebound damping is very uncontrolled, hugely uncontrolled. And likewise on the compression, it just kind of farts and gives way really quick. Now, why is that an advantage? Well, it's an advantage if you're a beginner, especially if you're a beginner or you're just not a very confident but relatively experienced bike rider, because a lot of suspension that's set up firmer with a lot of support and the capability to do, you know, Paul Tarres style shit, a bike like that, beginners and unconfident riders won't get to the bottom of it, and they'll feel that it is unknowable, that this bike is beyond them. The Bear 650 is beyond nobody. it eggs you on into doing silly shit until you hit the bottom. You see? It's fun, man, it's fun. Where's the other advantage? Well, it's the price, obviously. What did I just say? €7,500. I mean, what can you buy for €7,500 that looks as good as this? Next point, you've just bought a bike for €7,500. How do you treat it? Do you treat it like a garage princess? Do you wrap it in cotton wool? Stick it in the garage like a €25,000 BMW or KTM or Ducati and say, well, I don't want to take this down a trail because it's worth 25,000, and if the next owner says to me, oh, has this been off-roaded, he's going to knock the price down €3,000. You can't knock the price down of a Bear 650 by €3,000 unless you crash it. This is a Bear 650. It's supposed to do cool shit. If you're buying your bike to do cool shit, then go and do cool shit. If you cannot afford to do cool shit with the bike you bought, may I politely suggest that you have indeed bought the wrong bike. I've got a philosophy and I want to share it with you now, and this goes for both cars and bikes. If you can't afford to crash it and walk away and say, I had a great time with it, then you can't afford it. You can kid yourself and you can put 25 grand on the Never Never, and I've done that before, you know, myself. I've bought expensive bikes that are beyond my means and metered them out with a comfortable leasing payment. But the reality is, you might end up, as I did, paying for that bike for several years after it went to the great scrapyard in the sky. And you don't want to be that guy, right? So buy things you can afford to have fun with, because if you're not buying a bike to have fun with it, I would suggest that you and me, we can't be friends, because you're going to be one of them guys that just buys it, polishes it, and never rides it. And I make friends by going out and riding bikes with people. Is that the end of that rant? Probably. I might go back at it though, because I feel very strongly about it. So yeah, being built to a budget, having forks that go padoing every time you get to the top of the rebound stroke can actually be an advantage, because this thing is built to a price, and the price should be good. And that engine! Ah! Look at this. The road is wetter than the trail. How funny is that? We've got this light drizzle here in the French Pyrenees today, and it's like this amount of rain, it just sits on the tarmac, you know. But off-road, it just kind of permeates into the ground and makes it a bit tackier. Not slimy, like just damp. It's cool, man. Can my Aprilia do all of this better? Yes. Does my Aprilia cost €10,000 right now from an Aprilia dealer? Yes, it does. Is my Aprilia A2 license compliant? No, it is not. Is my Aprilia a stunningly styled, retro, cool bike? No, it's not. It just looks like what it is. It's an up-to-date, bang up-to-date, high technology, super duper. Oh, hello, dog. Where are you? You're a hunting dog. What's the matter? Mate, you've got a radio collar. Somebody's tracking that dog, I think. Oh, hello. It's another dog with a radio collar. Hi, mate. What are you doing? You okay? Hey, buddy. Go find your friend. He's around there. He's following me. Your buddy's around there, dude. He's gone the other way. Yeah, look, he's got a GPS collar. How cool is that? I wonder what he's up to. She's up to. It's a she. Okay, buddy. Have a great day. Also, if you don't like dogs, what's wrong with you? Just saying. Right. Where was I? Oh yeah, the styling. Man, this is a cool looking bike. You cannot deny that this is a mega cool looking bike. I personally think it's one of the best looking bikes on the market right now, and that is including 40-50,000 euro MV Augustas, no doubt. If you want a bike that looks as good as this, you've really got to look at things like the Triumph Scrambler 1200 XE, which is also, by the way, an awesome bike, but I mean, that inhabits a completely different price bracket to this bike. Don't worry, I know where I'm going. Oh, look at this. A very good reminder there that this bike doesn't have traction control. You just have ABS. It is switchable. Have I discovered how to switch it? No. Sorry. It's somewhere in the menu, and I have to admit, with my gloves on, I find the buttons a little bit fiddly. Just a wee bit fiddly. I could try and find it now, I guess. So, what do? We click this button in. We've got like a little joystick here with a left, right, up, down. Right, trip 1, trip 2. Fuel range, fuel consumption, voltage. I found it, folks. It's nothing to do with the menu. It's actually just really easy. Thank you very much, Royal Enfield. I love you. Again, the budget bike, absolutely winning. Do you have to go into a menu like a Honda Transalp 750 that costs 11,000 euros? No, you do not. You press this button here, M for mode. Click. Rear mode, rear ABS on. Double press it, rear ABS off. Ta-da! And now we can carry on. By the way, look at this kill switch. It's cool, isn't it? Royal Enfield since 1901. I mean, the name has been running since 1901. Cool. So now I can use the rather good rear brake, because she has got some power, this rear brake. The front, not so much. Good feel, not so much power when it's a hot day and you're braking very, very hard into a corner. It's got good feel, but the power is not there. But it is a single brake disc. Ooh. In the wrong gear, because I want to hop it over that little channel, look. First gear does that. I mean, the engine is really the star of the show off-road as well. It's such a cool engine. This bike bodes so well for the upcoming Himalaya 750. It's made the Himalaya 750 more exciting to me. Honestly, just riding this bike has made the thought of the Himalaya 750 way more interesting, because this engine is really a triumph of engine feel over spec sheets. Oh, I said Triumph. Let's not talk about Triumph. Yeah, this engine feels great. And of course the new bike, the 750, that's coming out. I think we're going to see it maybe at the end of 2025, maybe we'll see it in spring 26. But that is a 21 inch, 18 inch at the back, 21 at the front. It's a proper off-roader with this power plant, so that's kind of exciting and cool. The Himi 450 is a mega bike, I'm told, but I've not ridden it yet, but stay tuned, because that is my next press bike after this one. So you'll be able to watch me ride that very shortly, and I have a very cool trick planned for that. Boy do I. Boy do I. Just dragging the back wheel into stuff. Oh, this is a bit steeper, look. This is a bit more fun. Hey, stuff like this, honestly, if this is your idea of off-roading, the Bear's just gonna lap it up. I have another ulterior motive to coming down here. I actually did a bit of research and I decided I wanted to try and see bears. And can you believe the European black bear is still to be found here, down in the north end of France and the southern end of Spain. You can still find them. There's a lot of people arguing for it and a lot of people arguing against it. Locals, particularly subsistence farmers, don't like the idea at all, and you'll see a bit of graffiti here and there that says no to the bears in French, non au wo. I can't pronounce it, sorry. These ridiculously soft forks. These ridiculously soft forks, they're not bad when you're doing shit like that. It's okay, you know. Oh, we're into the rain. Amazing. Well, we've only got a couple more kilometres of this kind of stuff before we get to the amazing gorge. So I might save my cameras and microphones the ignominy of failure through water ingress, because the water gets into the microphones and stops them working properly. And I might put my cameras away, and you will rejoin me in but a minute when we will be at the gorge. The funny thing is, right, is that you ride for a couple of hours around here and you see some pretty big cliffs and you see some pretty steep mountains and you think, this is some rugged terrain, the Pyrenees, okay? No surprise. But when I came around the corner and saw this gorge the first time, I was honestly shocked. A little bit of the breath in my body, it left my body along with a bit of my soul, I'll be honest. Because I looked over the wall and I was just awestruck. And you know, the word awesome is bandied around a lot in the modern vernacular. But this is an awe-inspiring sight. And like I say, look, we're coming up to it, and you look ahead and you say, cool, we're on a cliffside road. And ahead of me, look, well, there's a gap in those mountains. Oh, I can see a gap, look. So this road's going to follow a valley through the mountains. Easy peasy, right? And if you're planning your trip here, by the way, great cafe on the left, homemade sandwiches, fresh drinks, coffees, cold drinks. And this is the beginning of the gorge. 5-ton weight limit, very narrow road, no stopping. Down there is a hermitage, and there is the gorge, okay? But this is not the surprising bit. You know, you look down and you say, oh, there's a bit of a drop here. Fair enough, I get it. Let's go through the tunnel. And this is not a road to go fast on, just to be really clear. This is the parking to go down to the hermitage, so you can walk down a particularly scary footpath down to that little hermitage. Hermitage. Sorry, my French pronunciation. And you're like, oh, this is a bit narrow, isn't it? And then you get here, look. I'm going to take my camera off my helmet. Look down there. Magnifique. Yeah. This is the bit where I think, blimey, how did they make this road? And you know, I'm not doing myself down here. I'm a fairly experienced motorcyclist. I've done the death roads of Peru. I've done all the Alps, most of the Pyrenees. Oh my word! But that is shocking. Just there. I'll do it again. I'm going to just stop here. Look at that. To stall the bike. You do not want to fuck this up. You do not want to make a mess of this. Got these little passing places, look. This is another amazing place that you're not supposed to stop, which I'm clearly going to stop at. And down here, the water is like green, like emeralds. That's the calcium carbonate. Just casually riding one hand a day, but it's worth it to film. Look at that. Oh, this was my goal for today, to come up to this gorge one more time before I head off to lead my Picos tour with a group from England. You know, casual plug, if you want to ride with me, you can just direct message me. I organise VIP motorcycle tours around the world. You can ride with me all over Europe, I have Americans come to Europe, I have Europe go to the Americas. That's what I do. The YouTube channel is complementary to this. But wow, wow, wow. I want to talk about the Royal Enfield now. I've had a few days to get used to it. The first time I rode it, I was expecting, because let's be honest with ourselves, we all have prejudices and biases. And I'm in a fortunate position where I could justify buying myself nice motorbikes because I use them a lot. I do 30, 40,000 kilometers a year on my own bikes. So I buy myself nice bikes. So forgive me if I went into this Royal Enfield test ride thinking, well, it's going to be a cheap bike. The question is it cheap and fun or cheap and nasty? And I think I went into it with the wrong angle, the wrong prejudice, the wrong bias. And I was just being a bit of a dickhead, you know. This is a common theme, by the way. For those of you who followed me in the magazines 20 years ago, I wasn't well known for being totally 100% sensible. Let's put it that way. Oh, look at this water. According to my friend Phil, who lives around here, in summer, this is just kids' playground. Everybody comes down here and swims and plays in the stream. I would love to do that myself. I'd love to bring my teenage boys down here, show them this. I think I will. Yeah, so going back into the Royal Enfield for a moment, I think I was judging this versus other more expensive bikes and higher technology bikes, when really the question you have to ask yourself before you go and ride this bike is, do you want to have fun on your motorbike? Are you buying a motorcycle for fun, or are you buying a motorcycle as a statement of how much money you've got? Oh my god, look at it coming this way. Superb. Superb. If you're into motorbikes because you want to have fun, and if you're into motorbikes because of the adventures that motorcycles can give you and the people that you meet having a motorcycle, then I think the Royal Enfield needs to be on your shopping list, and you absolutely have to take a test ride, because this Bear 650 is just, oh my, look at that cave. Oh my word. I'm speechless. I'm speechless. I'm trying to sum up what is for me a very important moment on my channel, having a press bike, and I'm trying to do it whilst looking down into that. I mean, are you kidding me? Look at that cave. Look at that cave. How did they build this road? They've carved it out of the living mountain. Did they get the dwarves of Moria to make this, or what? Anyway, the Bear 650 stands on its own 2 feet, without any other comparisons. It stands up as a great choice for your garage. You can cruise around on this all day, you can take it on little adventures, and you get to meet loads of people because everybody stops and talks to you. It's a cool bike. Has it got problems? No. Could it be improved? Yes. Could it be improved and stay on budget? Probably not. I'm a bit of a suspension geek, and this, to me, the biggest thing about this bike that screams budget, the biggest thing about this bike that screams budget is the forks. The forks are just plain unrefined. They have very poor rebound and compression damping. Is he going to let me through? Very kind of him. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Everything else is about what I would expect, or it exceeds what I expect. The brakes, the riding position, particularly the engine. The engine is just a peach. It's so nice, it's so torquey, it's so smooth and vibrating at the same time. It has no high frequency vibrations that I can decipher, but it has loads of low frequency rumble that reminds you you're riding a motorbike. And I love that. Would I buy one for myself? In a multi-bike garage, I would definitely consider a Bear 650, just for shits and giggles. What would I do with it if I bought it? Well, I would absolutely rip these showers apart and throw myself a relatively cheap Andreani fork cartridge kit in there, and I'd put some tasty shocks on the back. Pretty much anything I'd do. Anything from a well-known manufacturer. Spring it for my weight, and then I would be really happy, because honestly the stock exhaust sounds awesome. The stock fueling is fantastic. I want to show you this bike one more time. Before I finish this video, I mean, look at it. It's a cool machine, man. I also wanted to give a big shout out to Gearbox, who are a luggage company who are actually sponsoring my channel, and they're sponsoring it by offering you guys a 15% discount on Gearbox luggage. All you need to do is go to Gearbox, preferably use the link below, which has got a referral code, which will give me a little money to support my terrible motorcycling habit. And if you put in the code BTG, you'll get a 15% discount off your order. I'll get a little kickback as well, which goes towards my petrol budget. It's really quite a modest kickback. You don't need to worry that I'm going to be a millionaire, put it that way. But I'm grateful for everybody that supports the channel in any way you can. You can become a channel member, get to see videos that other people don't get to see. You can also follow me on Instagram if you want, which is @BTGMoto. And then you'll have a really good head start on what actually is coming next on the channel. But yeah, thanks again to Royal Enfield for lending me the bike. They did not pay me anything. They didn't even give me any fuel money, just saying they lent me a bike. So now I'm riding this today instead of my Aprilia Tuareg 660, and I'm giving you guys my honest opinion of the bike based on my experience of riding, what, 30 years. 30 years of riding motorbikes nearly. Professionally and very unprofessionally. Ho, 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 ho. Amazing. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching the video. If you haven't liked, subscribed and commented by now, what are you doing? Get on with it. And I'll see you on the next video.